All right, so one of the new features that will be in the VOLTTRON 5 release is multi-platform message bus service. So right now, if you have an agent on platform A and you want to talk to platform B, you have to know ahead of time what the VIP address of platform, what that remote platform is, and set up either a forward historian to get data between the platforms, or have your agent know about that other platform and um, set up a connection and purposefully send data to it. What Shweta has been working on and will present is a way to do that without agents having to know. So that basically you have a routing service and you're just publishing or subscribing to a topic, and it doesn't matter which platform that's on, you'll get the data. And so with that, I will turn it over to Shweta.
Hello, everybody. So Jeremy has already explained that the improvements that we are doing with multi-platform connection is having to reduce the burden of each agent that is trying to establish or is interested in receiving messages from another platform, having to know its VIP address or the server key, and adding implementation in their own code to create an agent and to maintain the connection themselves. So that has uh, the maintenance of the connection, that is establishing the connection, um, um, getting the server keys of the remote platforms, detecting or monitoring the connection regularly. Everything has been now shifted or has been added as an extra feature within the router itself. So I'll go ahead and explain what is the basic difference between the old implementation and the new one. So as Jeremy just explained, with the earlier implementation, what we needed to do is suppose that you are an agent on platform 1 and platform 3 are interested in receiving some messages from platform 2, then it had to build an agent by specifying the uh, VIP address of platform 2 and the server key of platform 2, create an agent and actually subscribe to messages. So basically it had to maintain a connection with the platform on its own. And if for some reason it is disconnected, then it has to reconnect and so on and so forth. So what we are trying to do now is reduce the burden of this connection maintenance by the agent itself, and let the routing service take care of monitoring the connection and making sure the connection is available at all time. So the difference between this old implementation and the new implementation is, so as I said, the router takes care of the connection. So all we need to do is configure. We still would need to know the address of the remote platform, but we do not need to know the server keys. So during the startup process, the router, there is an additional key discovery agent whose sole purpose is to get the server keys of remote platforms. So in order to do so, we need to configure the web addresses of the remote platforms. So first thing that we would need is a list of web addresses of the remote platforms that we need to establish a connection. So suppose platform 1 and 3 is interested in receiving messages from platform 2, then it would need to configure the web address of platform 2. in platform 1 and 3. And that new config file would have to be within the VOLTTRON home directory of that platform. And the config file name would be is external addresses.json. After that, it would be so there are two ways of so once we have established this, and when we start the VOLTTRON platform, the key discovery agent in the background will make a platform discovery request to the remote platform to get the server key, VIP address, and the platform name. With these three details, it will try to establish a connection. And also there is a internally the router also monitors the connection, so it can detect any disconnections and try to establish a new connection or try to reconnect on its own. So the bird, so now since the router maintains the connection, all that the interested agent has to do is use the subscribe method as before, and you don't need to build a connection to the remote platform, but you need to inform that I'm interested in receiving messages of this topic foo, but from remote platforms. So if this additional flag is not added, then it would mean that it is interested in receiving messages only from the local platform. So what happens internally is once the connection is established, the pub/sub service module within the router exchanges its internal subscriptions, exchanges the external subscriptions with the other platforms. So this happens on startup. It happens when a new subscription is added or an existing subscription is removed or a new platform is connected. All these details are in the specifications document, and the link to the specification document is in my last slide. I will show that, and everything is pretty well explained over there. So when an agent subscribes to a topic, the subscriptions are exchanged, and the router, the pub/sub service within the router maintains a list of subscriptions. So when platform 2 publishes to that topic, what happens is the pub/sub service module within the router will send the message to all the subscribed platforms. So this message is then routed to platform 1 and platform 3. The pub/sub service within the platform 1 and 3 would then know who it has to route to. So it will know that this message is coming from an external platform and is intended to be sent to agent 1 in my local platform. Similarly, platform 3 also would do the same. And if there is any error, the error is routed back to the sender agent. So the ease of so this would typically ease a lot of burden from the agent itself. And also, if say suppose platform 1 gets disconnected, then the pub/sub service within platform 2 would remove all the stale subscriptions as it is no longer connected. So as I said, this error handling also is maintained by the pub/sub service within the router. And I've talked a lot about the pub/sub portion of the message bus, but this implementation has also been added to the RPC service. So the difference would be in the RPC service, all we need to do is add the platform instance name at the end of the RPC call. So here, if you need to make a RPC call to a remote platform, then you need to provide the platform name along with, I mean, the rest of the arguments remain the same. All you need to do is provide the remote platform instance name. So it gets routed to the remote platform and gets the result or the information back. Again, this is internally maintained within the router. So this is the basic difference. And let me then explain what are the steps involved in setting up this new implementation. First and foremost, you need to, as I said, provide a list of web addresses. At this point of time, it is required that we have a HTTP port open for this, but I will be working with Craig to get around this if we have a VOLTTRON central in the among a group of platforms that want to talk to each other. But for now, if we give a list of web addresses in this manner in a config file inside the VOLTTRON home directory, as the part of the startup process, the key discovery agent would look up this config file and establish, try to get initial details about the remote platform, as I said, like the VIP address, the server key, the platform name, and so on. With this information, it establishes a connection. So suppose the second activity that we need to do is, once the server keys are available and you make a connection, it has to also be authorized. So you can either manually add it as part of the VOLTTRON control auth command, or we have implemented a setup mode which will ease us in adding this authorization keys into each platform. So if we start the VOLTTRON VOLTTRON instance in each platform with the flag setup mode, what it would do is add the auth entries directly. I will be giving you a demonstration of what I exactly mean by this. So once the auth entries are added, and when you restart in a normal mode, the connection is established and authorized, and you can go ahead and make your subscriptions and publish pub-sub communication or RPC communication seamlessly. So as I said, start in setup mode. The auth keys are exchanged. The entries are made in the auth JSON file. Shut down so we don't have a restart capability. So as of now, so we just shut down the platform and start the platform as before in normal mode. And then any agent that is interested in receiving messages from a remote platform would just call the subscribe method with all platforms set to true. And if you're interested in making an RPC call to a remote platform to get some information, say, for example, if you want to change the configuration of the threshold agent, the remote platform, then all you need to do is change the threshold settings, give the agent name, provide the config type and the actual config, and the platform that it has to make this call. And the router internally will route this message to the remote platform, get the result back, and give it to the agent making this call. Any questions so far?
Shweta, I have a quick question. So this is like not the, it's listening to all the published topics, right? Or is it there's no um, topic and remote platform combination, right? It's whenever you're going to give a list of platforms, it's going to listen to the all the subscript topics from all of the remote platforms. There's
Yes.
no,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the goal is that you don't have to know what other platforms are out there.
Yeah, the intention of the publish subscribe mechanism is to not know the destination platform or the destination location, but you just specify the topic or the pattern and you receive messages from all the platforms.
True, but then how does the whatever authorization for specific topics and those come into picture, right? Because
Yes.
at one
So
point we were talking about
yes,
restricting topics.
along with the authorization of keys, you have also the topic authorization that is maintained in a different file, protected topics.json file. So that is where you specify, and each platform will maintain a list of topics that have a protection. So only those topics will be authorized.
So what does it mean if you have like a protected topic and a remote platform is trying to listen, like if it tries to subscribe, they'll just get an error saying you're not authorized?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to check if the same, like the check would work across platforms too.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So did you have another slide?
Yeah, just a link to the specifications. So it is in the read the docs site, and this is the link. And basically, it contains the capabilities, functional capabilities of this new feature. This is for pub/sub communication, and there is another one for the RPC.
Shweta, could you talk about your scalability testing?
Yes. So currently, let me do a demonstration of this and then explain. So currently, what I am going to show you is having to have about 6 platforms that are all connected to each other and have 2 master drivers in platform 1 and platform 4, each publishing to a different each publishing to a different topic, and have some listener agents listen to one topic and a few listener agents listening to another topic, and see if and demonstrate how it is easy to have this communication set up and show that they're all working well with each other. So this, just to explain, I have just 6 platforms running here, but currently we are working on having a setup where we can run scalability tests for hundreds of platforms. So that is still a work in progress, and I can scale up to 50 platforms within a single VM. And right now I'm trying to scale it to 100 platform with 3 VMs, each having 30 platforms running in each VM, and all of them are communicating. All of them are connected to each other. I'm sorry. So one of the test cases that I'm running right now is having one platform which acts as a collector platform and having 99 or other 100 platforms as a publishing platform. So these 100 platforms are just publishing some values, say some market values, and the collector platform is supposed to receive all these messages, uh, that is 100 messages, within a minute, and then take a mean, get a mean of that, and then broadcast or publish that mean value to these 100 platforms, and um, ensure that they are all received, and I'm maintaining a count of messages that are being received in both the ends. So with this, if this 100 platforms are able to seamlessly work with each other, the next goal would be to increase from 100 to 200, and so on and so forth. So that is one of the work that I'm doing. As I said, I have increased it to about 50 platforms. The problem with having all this set up in a single VM is it runs into too many open file issues, or too many sockets opened issues. So we need to change the open file configuration of Linux to increase the number to very high values, or play with the raw ZMQ parameters, socket parameters, to increase it to a high value, to increase the receive buffer to a high value, or increase the number of socket connections to a high value. So if I have increased it to a high value and seen that it works fine, in a single platform, we can extend it as high as 5 to 6,000 agents. I'm just trying to do that with multi-platform connection.
All right.
Any questions?
And so how is it arranged? So if we wanted to, so if you have a really large number of VOLTTRONs and don't want to have them all on in the same neighborhood or whatever, how would you split that up so that subsets of them could be multi-platform neighborhood type things?
One would be to group them together, have a subset of groups, and then have a single platform that is connected to another subset of groups, and have a hierarchical setup.
Okay.
That would be one way to do it. Or yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Any other questions around this topic? If not,
I just wanted to demo this feature.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
The first thing, I have a simple script that is doing some initial setup for me. So first thing is, I'm creating VOLTTRON homes for 6 instances. Basically, they are numbered. Each of them are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. So So as I said, it needs to have the bind address configured, added into the config file. It should have the instance name also specified in the config file, and the VIP address. So each platform home directory should have these basic details, and then the external addresses file, JSON file, should have a list of web addresses also added in the VOLTTRON home directory. So I've added 6 addresses here. And I'm starting all the platforms in this setup mode. I have the window opened for all of them. So typically you will have each window is VOLTTRON log for that platform. So for platform, the upper left most window is for platform 1. This is for platform 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what I wanted to show you is that in the setup mode, we actually add the auth entries or the server key entries in each platform. So you can see this log entry here. A new auth entry is added in setup mode. The same can be seen through. So for instance, if it is platform 1, let's see if the entries are added. So here we have added the server keys for all the platforms that are going to connect to platform 1. Similarly, the entries get added into each platform. So now if we try to start in normal mode, so those entries immediately are authorized, and you get authentication success for each connection that is made in the normal mode. Now let me start some drivers in a couple of platforms. I'm adding a driver into platform number 1, and the driver, so it would act as a fake driver 1. I'm adding another in platform number 4, and that would act as fake driver 2. And let me start some listener agents. I'll start some listener agents in 1, 2, and 3. The topic would be, let's listen to devices / fake 1. So I'm starting 3 listener agents in platform 1, 2, and 3. And let me start some more in 5, 5 and 6, but this is listening to all topics. And if you can look at the log, here you're receiving messages. I didn't have to create a forward historian. I didn't have to make any additional connections internally. The router takes care of all the routing. So if you can see, I had added a listener agent in platform 1. So it is receiving messages from the master driver that is running in platform 1 itself. So it can receive its own messages that are being published in its own local platform as well, and it can receive messages that it has subscribed to from other platforms. So platform 1 is listening to messages from its own local platform. So you can see that it is receiving messages here. Platform 2, this is platform 2. This is I had configured it to receive messages from platform 1 of topic type devices/fake campus. Platform 3 also is receiving messages of this type. Whereas 5 and 6, I had configured it to receive messages of just devices type. So it should receive both fake 1 and fake 2. So this is receiving messages of type devices/fake2-campus and devices/fake1-campus. I'm not printing the count of messages, but that is another thing that we have to test, that it should receive all the messages that are being published by the publishing platform. So I hope this will answer some of the questions that you have been thinking, and I hope this will help in remote platform agent development. I just have a shutdown command also that will basically shut down all the platforms.
Great. Thank you, Shweta.
Any questions?
All right. All right. If there's no questions, then
yes, for now, Carl has a question that external addresses JSON has to use HTTP. Yes.
okay. Well, let's take that offline, and we'll start a conversation about that.
Okay.
Shweta, I have a question. So if we pre-populate the second file that's generated from getting all of these, you wouldn't have to use the HTTP setup mode. You could pre-populate that file, and then it would work just right. Fine,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So that is how we have to use it internally, because we can't expose the HTTP address.
Yes. The information that I received through the setup mode is actually stored in.
That's a very good point, Carl. And that is how we have to use it on the main CETC project as well, because you're right, because of the firewall rules.
So the information that I receive from other platforms during the setup mode is actually stored as a persistent dictionary in the VOLTTRON home folder. If we just replace that with the correct information, then it should work as is without the HTTP addresses.
And I don't believe it has to be as pristinely formatted as this is.
Yeah.
But we haven't tested that because like she says, we use a persistent dictionary that uses JSON as its backend. So as long as it's JSON, it should work just fine. But I don't think we have actually tested that yet, so we're getting there.
Okay. Anything else? All right. If there's no other questions or topics, then we can call the main office hours complete. Curtin, are you there? And am I saying your name right? Kirtan Patel had a question that we were chatting about on how to do RPC calls to remote platforms. And so we can... Kirtan, if you're there, you're muted. Now you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. So I can't hear you. If you're on, just type something in the chat window. Let me know that you're okay. So you're there, but we can't hear you. So the data mover agent or interactions with the actuator provide an example of RPC calls to a remote platform. I happen to have a setup on my VM that I can go over real quick and show you, and hopefully provide some clarity. And if you still have questions, we can maybe try and have another call when your audio is working. All right, so what I've got here is I've got a receiving platform that is running VOLTTRON and getting data from two other instances of VOLTTRON running on my VM here. And this one is running a data mover, which was discussed at the last... Oh, did I not... was discussed at the last office hour. So what I had to do to get the data mover sending data to this instance is I had to configure the data mover itself. Okay. So the question is when do we expect VOLTTRON 5 to be released? And yeah, as Craig says, the beta will be in a separate branch by most likely Monday. Then we're aiming to do a release candidate at the end of the month, and we'll do a final release sometime October timeframe. But we want to, we recognize that a lot of people are using VOLTTRON in their labs or in their real actual deployments, and so we don't want to be, we want to make sure that we have time for the release candidate to get some use before we update the main branch and call it a full release. Yeah, as Craig says, we want to make sure that we have a smooth upgrade path. So when the beta and release candidate go out, we encourage people to try it out and let us know what they think. And as any issues that pop up in their use and our internal use, we'll address those. Yes, non-production environments, unless you unless you want to do it in a production one yourself. But we've got a deployment on campus that will be switching over to 5.0, and we'll be working with anybody else who's doing the same. So anyway, so what I had to do to get Data Mover to be able to send data between the platforms is first I set up my Data Mover configuration so that it has the destination VIP address, the destination server key, and then that will get used by the data mover agent in this code here. It pulls all that out, sets up a destination agent, And when it's time to send the data, right here, it calls that target platform with a VIP.RPC call with the destination of the intended target agent and the method that you want to call on it, which is insert in this case for the data mover. And what I had to do on the target is add the public key of the data mover here, which I got from, so this is the data mover, its credentials are here. So after I install the data mover on this platform, I can check to see what public credentials it got. I go back to the target platform, add the credentials here, and then it's working. Craig, anything else you want to say on that?
No, I'm
Okay.
I'm good.
So when you install an agent, the platform automatically makes an entry into its auth JSON file. So automatically added on agent install, and that's where the public key for that agent gets put. For when you install an agent on a local platform, you don't have to use VOLTTRON auth add on that platform. You have to use it on the platform that you want to access. So I install data mover on this platform. It wants to send data to this platform over here. So this platform, I do need to use VOLTTRON control auth add to get that in here. And then the thing I need on the data mover platform is I need the server key of this target, which I added to the data mover config file. Or an alternative would be to have it in the known hosts file, and then it would pick it up from there. Yeah, only on the remote platform, only the credentials for the data mover are required. And so the pattern would be the same even for your custom agents that you're trying to put together. So hopefully that makes sense. If you run through it again and still run into issues, let us know, and we'll try to resolve them for you. All right. Great. That sounds good. All right. And so another thing to mention about the 5.0 features is that the majority of them should be fairly painless to upgrade. So if you don't want to use the multi-platform, you don't use the multi-platform. If you don't want to use the tagging service, you don't use the tagging service. So there should be minimal disruption going from 4 to 5. Right, you will have to rebuild instances of all the agents just so that you get the latest code when you have your agents running on the platform. But that should be the majority of it, and we'll have a documented upgrade process.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Is there going to be, or has there already been, an office hour about this tagging service?
Let's see. I missed an office hours. Did Chandrika cover that a couple weeks ago?
No, it was covered a long time ago,
Okay.
but it was covered before it was actually here.
Yeah, it
So
was only
I think
for the
that would be a good
specification.
thing to go over in the next office hours.
Yeah, I think it would be.
So,
You okay with that, Chandrika?
Sure.
and
Okay.
does the tagging service mean what I think it is as far as applying metadata information to the topic?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
And it's in a completely separate table. It could be a completely separate database, but it's adding information about topics, so you don't have to just rely on the topic string to get information out of it.
Okay, that would be good. And is that going to be something that is incorporated into VOLTTRON Central UI, or will be?
Currently, it is not.
It's not. Okay, that's fine. We're actually having a problem with the UI on our current field deployment, not scanning the devices. I'm not sure what the problem is, but I won't get into that here. So we're kind of reverting back to trying to just really streamline the manual approach to configuring the backnet. So, well, that's great. Yeah, I'd like to see about what Chandrika has done and learn how to use that service.
Great. That'll be a topic for next time then. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. We will talk again in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.